Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you are in the world, you join us here live at Apex Racing TV. I am your host, Aaron Smith, and I'm joined here by Sam Fitzpatrick here at Watkins Glen for Radical Racing Challenge Round 5 here in the last season for 2022. I, for sure, am looking forward to this race. Sam, how are you feeling?
I am feeling very good about this race, I think, Aaron. I think this is going to be a very exciting one coming up. This is one of the best circuits in the world. It's so much fun to drive. The racing around here is absolutely terrific as well. And so this should be a fantastic one. We are just going to have to take a slight pause on the broadcast for just a second, but we should be back in just a few minutes. Three, two.
And we are back. Slight technical error there, but we are fixed. We are ready to go racing. Kia actually, well, got qualifying first. I'm jumping ahead of myself. We got qualifying first, and then the race 8 minutes after, and we're just getting ready to go vroom vroom round. As Sam was saying, one of the best tracks in the world, and I do have to agree with Sam on that. This track is an absolute beauty to drive and provide some amazing racing. It's pretty faultless, to be fair. You know, it's got nice sweeping long corners. It's quite challenging at the same time, but it's really wide. You can have some amazing racing around here in pretty much any series that you do, whether it's Mazdas to Formula One cars. No matter what, you usually get some pretty good racing around here. But at the same time, it does require a lot of skill to get around here, as there's not too many heavy braking zones. The heaviest I can think of is like maybe turn 8 or 9, like towards the end of the lap. But apart from that, pretty much every corner you gotta nail it, get the exact line, or you'll end up in the wall. Sam, have you had too much experience ending up in a wall on this track, or are you an absolute god?
I'm a god around this place, honestly. They're the two options, and I'm certainly on the metaphysical side of the spectrum, I think. No, I really like this place. It's had some decent results. I don't think I've had any terrific results, but that final corner is like the place where you're going to hit the wall, and personally I'm awful at getting close to the wall. I just really hate it. I'm just way too cautious to that corner. That's the place where I tend to lose time more than any of the other corners. And so we'll see who pushes it that far. You can skim it and get away with it. I wonder if anyone's going to be pushing that a little bit too far. Of course, you cannot be picking up a 1x during qualifying. Let's see if Ferrari can nail this final corner. That is pretty good. A little bit of margin for Ferrari. He's currently the pole sitter, but the second times are usually a bit quicker. Can the Iberian driver improve on his time? He can, and it's a 39.293 to put him on provisional pole. Can anyone respond?
We shall see. We currently at the top, 0.4 of a second. Although not many people have actually... Oh, 8 thousandths of a second from Philip Van Den. Very, very close. And had he maybe gotten on throttle a little bit earlier around some of these corners, he could have been on pole. But yeah, this track does require many, many balls to get close to that, especially that final corner. You have to get so close. And if I remember... Oh, we're Mario Madino going on pole by 0.5, not bad from him. He's currently sitting on provisional pole. Tommy Whitten's now crosses the line and can't improve by much. Simoes goes up to 4th place. Everyone's starting to push on their final laps, but I believe Sam, you put the Watkins 6 hours at the top of your list, if I'm remembering correctly.
That's a good shout, and thank you for bringing up the late Apex. Catch new episodes every Monday evening on Apex Racing TV. News and discussion, and just a laugh. It's just a laugh. So do watch that on Mondays on Apex Racing TV. Yes, I did put this at the top because it was the shortest one. Which sort of questions why am I rating endurance events when my main criticism of the majority of them was that they are, quote, too long. And so that was a feature that I really do like this though, not just because of the fact that it's over and done with nice and quick, but also because it's a very fun circuit. The cars are very cool, and yeah, it's just, you just don't get bored of it. And I think this circuit, I mean, it's just so flowing, and I love the scenery. It's just great. Such a good track, cannot stress enough.
I think someone's a tiny bit passionate about this track as Daniel Sedgley goes up to 7th place, still half a second off pole, but I am going to agree with you on that. This track, I have done the Watkins 6 hours a few times, and yeah, unlike some endurance events where I am driving just around and round and round, and sometimes I would get bored, this is one of the tracks where you do just appreciate it. It is really, really fun to hot lap, and even driving around it for 6 hours, it's incredibly fun. Although maybe doing it in LMP2 cars, lapping GT3 cars, it may require a change of underwear afterwards. It is incredibly terrifying, especially going through this last corner, trying to lap slower cars in a Le Mans prototype car. But hopefully, some of these drivers will not have to lap each other in today's race, which we shall find out. As here is your order for today's race. Mario Madio starting on pole, his first pole position of the season, maybe his first race of the season. Sergio Ferrero in 2nd place, Philip Van Den in 3rd, Felix Simoes in 4th, Rafael Blanco in 5th, Manu Casanovas in 6th, Daniel Sedgley 7th, Cesar Tebar in 8th, Tommy Wittens in 9th place, Scott Lear in 10th, Chris Redman in 11th place, Craig Gregory in 12th. Then you have Victor Oset in 13th place, Gonzalo Romero in 14th, Juan Bastianini in 15th, Andy Tokley 16th, Ivan Belesso in 17th, Iancu Constanuti in 18th place, Ezekiel Murillo in 19th, Enio Baba in 20th, and rounding off your grid in 21st place is Sergio Paulet. So the field pretty spread out, Sam. What do you think are in store for our drivers?
Well, it's a mixed up grid. Seed number 12, Medeo, who we are not familiar with, up there on pole position. Watch out for Enio Barber though. That is Aaron Barber's Smurf account. And so he'll be very quick coming from the back. But already the lights are coming on. We are about to get underway at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, the drivers seem to be very keen to go racing as it's 5 lights and green, green, green here at Watkins Glen. The pole sitter Medeo off to a very good start, and there's already a crash in the background involving 3 cars. And already a crash, and even more incidents into turn 1. That's the number 9
Casanavas
of Casanavas going into turn 1. But a horrible start for the people at the back as at the front of the grid, an absolutely superb start from our pole sitter. A pretty flawless start. Philip Van Den up to 2nd place. It was a great start from him from 3rd, but our pole sitter has absolutely stormed into the lead.
Yeah, really good start there from Medeo. Not too many changes actually in the top 6. It is sort of similar and actually down to 8th. But Andy Tokley, 7 places gained from his race start. Absolutely mighty stuff. You can see the gap that has formed behind him, but not many movement behind him. So really just inspired stuff there from the car number 15. We don't expect him to make up too many more places than that. But that is a great effort. I think Tommy Wittens as well, just in a little bit of a battle with Scott Lear up the road. But yeah, great start. If there's a winner from the first lap, it's certainly Andy Tokley. But Medeo not getting away out in the lead, still just 0.3 of a second. Seemingly, it's just Bastianelli who has had to return to the pits. I'm surprised. I thought that was going to be 3 or 4 cars out there just on that kind of start-finish line crash that we saw immediately.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I thought we were going to see, I think more than that. I think 4 cars were involved, 3 at the back and 1 at the front. I thought all of them were gone, as these cars are incredibly sensitive to damage and it's pretty much game over. But only 1 so far has actually towed, as we see Sergio Farinio going for a move into turn 1 possibly. Yes, Philip Van Den just backing out slightly, although there is a massive straight which he's going to get slipstream on. So already tactical games in this 13 lap race being played in lap 2. Oh, this is going to be an absolutely chaotic race all around, I can tell. And it's only halfway through, well, not even halfway through, lap 2. We're just starting. And Philip van Den going side by side into this little chicane. And he just backs out of it. Smart idea. Going around the outside of that corner is never going to end well. With Redman and Gregory battling for 11th place. Totally round. Yes, I think there was a little bit of a jinx from Sam earlier on, saying he had an absolutely amazing start and is now slipping down to 19th place. Let's see what he can do from here, as Cassian Navas overtaking Balesso for 16th place, and Sedgley trying to attack Simos for 5th place, actually losing the place, my apologies. Simos moving himself up. Not a bad start for him, although he is down a place and he locks up slightly. Can Sedgley try and fight back going into this next hairpin? Can't quite get it done. Round the outside on this track is not easy, because a lot of the time these corners do fall away from you, and the grip on these cars, especially naturally being understeery, I can't imagine the outside line ever working. But yeah, some of these drivers are really struggling at the moment, aren't they, Sam?
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one. As well, we just had a flurry of changes right there. We've got some smoke as well up in the air. This is Romero. This is a little bit of a foot back. Wow, 3 wide off the circuit. Oh, who is that? Absolutely sending it right there. Miraculous. So I think that was Ennio Barber there, who went wide, and I think he's made 2 positions right there, but we're going to have to change to the race lead, because Ferrari leads this race, and he's absolutely mighty through that bus stop chicane. Medeo trying to come back now. This is going to lose some time. They've made a little bit of a break for it. Blanco's got ahead of Van den Hurk, so one South American doing well, one South American dropping back right now. Ferrari still trying to make this move work against Medeo. This is brilliant battling. I do feel like Ferrari or Medeo needs to keep this race lead, because I'm not sure if he's necessarily got the pace of these other drivers. He's getting his nose ahead. Will he go off the circuit? He's super duper wide. I think he's going to lose out to his fellow Latin American compatriots right there. But Medeo does stay ahead, had a good exit from that corner, and now needs to use that draft from Ferrari in order to keep that 2nd place.
Yeah, he just tried to get too deep on the brakes and absolutely balls it up, and managed only just to hold on to 2nd place, and is now falling behind 1st place. And he will probably catch back up, as the slipstream in these cars and on this track is incredibly powerful, and I can imagine him being on Ferrero's rear diffuser within probably about 30 seconds, as now he's bringing Blanco and Philip van Den into the fight as well, so we could have a 4-way fight for the lead here. And just going on to a different battle, we got the battle for 10th place between Victor Osset, Romero, and Baba.
Baba's done the exact same move. He's just willing to take way more curb on the outside there, and it just it allows him to get on the power way earlier. Now, who's going to win out of this one is going to be decided by who gets the draft from Osset just ahead. Who is getting the draft? Well, at the moment, actually, it's Romero. Osset's driving smart. He's giving no disrespect to Romeo, but the slower driver, the toe, and that has hurt Barber right there. And now they're just going to lose each other a bunch of time battling like this. This could be 3 wide very soon between these drivers. And yeah, just demonstrates the battling that we're having all the way down the field. These guys are not far off the lead. They're 7.5 seconds off the lead, which honestly isn't that far, as Medeo has a slight drop, but he's back up into 2nd position now. There goes Barber again. Ooh, that's super close to contact. You don't have to take the tightest line there to carry good speed. And Barber is struggling to make his way through. Heck, he might even lose a position here to Poulet, who's gone round his outside and got his nose ahead.
Yeah, Baba trying to play the smart game, but just ends up losing out. Could have gotten himself up into 10th place, but now is struggling for 13th. And he has fallen down all the way to 13th place, considering he was fighting for 10th about 30 seconds ago. That just goes to show the immense racing you can get on this track, and how easy it is to fall away if you are not careful. But so far we have a pretty calm battle for 5th place. Not really much going on for Felix Samos, as Bastianelli moves up a place, as Tokely has towed and is out of the race. our first retirement today. So now we only have a 20-car grid now, but the battle at the top is looking very, very spicy with Sergio Ferreira at the moment with the fastest lap and in the lead of the race.
Yeah,
And
so
Felix...
Moses sort of at the back of the front pack, but he's losing time. He lost 6/10 on that last lap to the race leader. He needs to have an upturn in pace if he is going to stay in touch with these drivers. Let's see if Barber can get back this position. This is the closest battle going on right now. In fact, this is against Osset, so Romero getting ahead of Osset before Barber got past Paulet. And he is now up into 11th position, but a profitable couple of laps there for Romero, the German, or the, apologies, European driver, is looking quick in 10th position, but Barber now up 9 places from his race start.
Yeah, I was expecting Baba to make very, very quick progress. As we've seen earlier in the season, he is an extremely quick driver in these radical cars. And I would not be surprised if we saw him maybe in the top 8 by the end of this race, possibly. We'll have to see what happens to other drivers and himself. But so far he's making slow and steady progress, and that's a car off in the background, very hard impact. And that is probably IMQ's race over and done with. I can't imagine him keeping that car going. That was a very hard hit. You can hear the car dragging across the ground. And yeah, he's going to bring it into the pits and get his fast repair. If these cars do have a fast repair in this series, which I believe they do. Ah, they do not. Well, that's pretty much his race over then, because that's going to be minutes of repairs. And yeah, it's just a bit of a shame for him. Was having a fairly decent race there in about 15th place, but you live and you learn, hey, and he will surely learn from that mistake. As Gregory moving up to 13th place, we got a little bit of a battle, and that's another car off.
Who was that? Osset.
That was Osset. Yeah, good spot, Sam. I could not see who that was, and that's just another mistake. Are these guys really making mistakes this early? We're only a few laps into the race. I'm guessing he just hit a bump. Yeah.
The wrong amount of curb. You either take that curb or you don't take that curb. I say that, no, there is no choice. You take that curb. He did not take enough curb right there, and that is what put him into the wall and settled the car. I mean, when you're, yeah. And he'll know that mistake, but that's, yeah, really tricky one. Is that the old bus stop was absolutely insane. I did prefer the old curbs there, but I mean the new one is pretty much the same way. Yeah, you just absolutely launch it over those curbs, and that's the only way pretty much in the majority of cars, certainly the pro drivers, I think, always tackle that, even if the amateurs maybe take a little bit less curb. Yeah, to get that top time, you really do need to be cutting that corner a lot. As Ferrero is pulling away, that gap is opening up. He is breaking the chart right now. It's a very good drive, and the Latin American pair of Medeo and Blanco at the moment have no response on that last lap. The race leader pulled out his gap by 1.5 tenths of a second, so it's looking very good for him. Is it looking good for Van Herk? That's not a great sight they want to see. What about Redmond? That's an even worse sight they want to see.
Yeah, going into this corner, just getting swallowed up by 2 cars and bumps, and that's a car off again on the exit of the bus stop. Who was that? That was Tommy Wittens. Managed to keep it out of the wall though. So very impressive car control from him, just about managing to keep it out of the wall as he's flashing the drivers ahead for some odd reason. We will take a look at what...
So I want to see the other battle. Here we go. Barber versus Redmond. So I think Barber got one of these, didn't he? But this is just bad news, I think, for Redmond. And look at the dancing about, and gosh, and then you can just see up ahead. Okay, no, we didn't really see it there, so we'll get a proper. Well, actually, we're just going to see a replay of Poggen absolutely dancing about everywhere. Belosso's just had a sight off, so we'll check in what happened here for Belosso.
Same thing.
That was. Ooh. We'll continue. That's fine. And then if we try to find out what happened to Wittens.
I mean, Wittens managed to save it. I saw while we were watching the battle with Baba, Witten's made a very, very impressive save. Yeah, just all over the place into that curb, and then perfect 360 and manages to keep the car going. But his tyres are probably absolutely shot, and that's Philip Van Den out of the race.
Uh-oh.
He is... Something has happened to Philip Van Den,
I see
one of our top 4.
I see no crashes for Vandenhoek, but something's happened, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's just disconnected or he has had an incident, but we will certainly find out for you, ladies and gentlemen. But that promotes Sedgley up into 4th place, and pretty much everyone else gains a position out of that now. Scott Lear trying to defend from Baba now. Baba making extraordinary progress at the moment. I thought he might finish inside the top 8. He's now up to 6th place. Absolutely incredible. Oh no, Philip Van Den is back. He is back. He just disappeared for half a lap.
That's insane. Usually iRacing just has enough at you of that point. He must have been so close to a timeout there. But yeah, he's back again as Lear drops behind Barber and Romeo. Romeo really quick tonight. I mean, he is keeping up with Barber. I know he was ahead of Barber at one point, but he's keeping tabs with them and gaining a lot of places as Vandenhoek again drops out. But if he just keeps on intermittently appearing and disappearing every half lap, then he might be alright for the rest of the race. It's not the longest race in the world. In fact, we are entering the final few laps already, and well, it's good to see how close the field is. We've had bursts of this so far this season. A couple of rounds ago, it was extremely close at Interlagos, maybe the most competitive round we've had in the SR10. And tonight has been similar stuff. As Sedgley in 4th position, ahead of Felix Somoza. In fact, I believe he's just made that move on the previous lap. But on this lap, it's actually Somoza who has started to close back in.
Yeah, I think Philip Van Den is probably going to get timed out now. As you were saying, iRacing is about 30-ish seconds that it gives you to reconnect, but if you don't, then it just kicks you out of the race. So I'm going to have a guess that is it for Van der Hoek, and that is his race over, and everyone else gains a place. But as we see what happened to
this was Sedgley passing Somoza. I'm not sure if he necessarily saw this originally, so thought we'd
I don't think we did.
Give it a bit of love. It was fairly simple. It really wasn't broadcastable, honestly. Sedgley's wasted our time, and we won't forget it. We're back to live pictures again, and we won't be making that mistake again. But he is in 4th position. The gap for the lead is coming down. Ferrero, look at that. I mean, where was Medeo for the middle part of this race? He lost the lead, dropping back 9/10 of a second behind. Yeah, and now he's just, got back on with it, and he's right back into play. Also, Paul Lay and Gregory, well, this is messy, losing each other a lot of pace offline off every corner. But Paul Lay is currently ahead. But yeah, Ferrari, well, he's certainly back in the draft now as Medeo. You do get a little bit of turbulent air, but it's not too bad. We could be on for a move actually here, guys. As he is currently defensive. Ooh, he's just about gone. Now, Ferrari's very good through the bus stop if the first lap's taught us anything. So, yeah, that'll be a tricky place for Medeo to get the move done.
Yeah, 100%. As you were saying, Medeo just slipped away, but now has absolutely gunned it for the lead. As now there's a little bit of ding-donging going for 8th place. As Lear, Wittens and Redmond all scrapping it out. There's some good battles going on up and down the grid. Wittens trying to find a gap, and Redmond just trying to pick up the pieces of whatever he can these two end up doing. But Medeo maybe going to try and send it into this next corner. Can't quite match the braking of Ferrero in front. But maybe Medeo was just saving his tyres for the end, because we know how these tyres like to behave. Is that Wittens? Is that Wittens off? Is that Wittens towing? I believe.
I think you might be right. Let's see if something comes up on the event viewer. Yep, he has crashed, and so providing that we have enough time to go see it, we will see what happened to him.
I was going to say, I just saw in the corner of my eye him going back to pit lane, and we'll just see what happened to him. Oh, getting it all wrong.
That was behind Scott Lear.
Oh, and yeah, that's front left suspension gone. And that is his race over. Seeing a lot of crashes today. Not surprising, this track isn't easy, but it is great. As we see Medeo now in the slipstream of Ferrero in front. Probably not the smartest idea to go for a send. Yeah, you can just hear him lifting off the throttle.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
that's
that's off. That's the wing gone. And he's going to get a big slowdown as well.
Yep, I just going into that corner, I thought he was a little bit offline. But, you know, my little brain predicting the future of what's going to happen, and he now slips behind Blanco. Now, he has incredible pace. We've seen that so far this race. Hey, that rhymed. But let's see if he can catch up to Blanco. It will be incredible if he can catch back up to Ferrari. He's only got about 2 laps to do so. But now we may have a 3-way battle for the lead, as Ferrero's pace is dropping off slightly. As I say that, he then goes a 10th quicker than Blanco.
That was a weird corner there. I was sort of reading it the same way as you though, where on corner entry it looked like Blanco gained about a 10th, and then on corner exit, Ferrero gained a 10th. So very different lines being taken through the heel right there. As 2 more laps to go then. Gap is 9/10 of a second. That was a good couple of corners there for Ferrero, and he will pretty much break the draft right there. You can see he actually pulled away by 1/10 of a second over Blanco. So it might just be a battle for P2 now between the drivers behind him, unless something unusual happens. Ferrero, it's been tricky to tell who's had the fastest pace. I mean, I'm tempted to say Enya Baba did just set the fastest lap of anyone that last lap, but even someone like Daniel Sedgley was faster than the top 3 on that last time round. But, you know, he started down in P7, did Sedgley, and got stuck behind a bit. Samose, where could he have been? It's just been very competitive. I think there's been 6 or 7 drivers who, honestly, if things had gone differently, could have won this race.
Yeah, I do think had Baba maybe... Oh, I just talk about Baba. He's had a little bit of an incident, not too bad. But I was about to say, had Baba maybe qualified in the top 10 or even higher, 100% he could have. He probably could have been fighting for the win of this race. He's had incredible pace, up 14 places, which you don't see very often in this series. But he has had amazing pace, and props to him for having an incredible race. But most of these drivers have, who are still in the race, in the top 10, have had a pretty good race. The only one I can think of who hasn't is Medeo, who was our pole sitter and is now in third, making that mistake on the last lap, as we saw. And now he was really close to Blanco at the end of the last lap, but now has slipped back slightly. And he's only got 1 more lap to try and overtake him. But I'm not so sure he's going to be able to do it, because Blanco is in the slipstream of Ferrero in front, so he hasn't got that benefit. And it is white flag now. I don't think he's going to be able to get back into second place.
No, it was a good lap that last time round by Blanco, and the gap's down to 7/10 of a second. But really, if you're going to go for a move, you need to do it into the bus stop. That's the best place, or maybe turn 1. Well, those opportunities are running out quick, because he's pretty much just got the fiddly bit left of this lap in order to make the move, as he negotiates the bus stop for the last time. And he is getting closer, but it must be such a tricky car, this, to push it, because you do that where you're thinking, I just need that little bit more pace. You get on the thoughts of that bit earlier, and it will just wash out. It will not stick with those front tyres, and you've got to be patient with it. And Blanco's driven this race well, but he will be regretting that. P5 in qualifying, but frankly, Ferrari has always just had a little bit in margin. Remember, he got the gap up to 1 second at one point ahead of Medeo. Could Medeo have made the move? Perhaps, but he's really had everything under control. And, well, maybe 1 more lap and maybe the Uruguayan would have been able to make the move, but I think this is all going the way of the Iberian right to the finish.
As you were just saying that, maybe the gap is so small, we may have a little bit of a drag race to the line. We shall see. But Ferrero is still looking fairly comfortable in the lead. But it is 4/10 now, so yeah, we probably won't get a drag race. But nevertheless, it has been a fantastic race for Sergio Ferrero as he crosses the line and wins here at Watkins Glen. Been a very, very consistent race for him and a deserving victory. And again, a new winner in this season. We've not had a double winner once. So that's 5 winners in 5 rounds. Very good. We always like good racing, as we see Powlett defending from Gregory behind, who tries to send it into the final corner but can't quite get the move done.
Ooh.
As he... What have you seen, Sam?
Well, no, sorry, he was just lifting off just before the line there, Parlay, and the gap wasn't that far clear. I got a bit concerned for him for a second there, but he was all right. He was all right. But I'd shout out, by the way, to Parlay and Gregory, who didn't really show too much of them, but they were having a race on battle. They were absolutely glued to one another for the entire event. It was tricky to tell who was the faster driver, as I think we can see. Well, yeah, hopefully. Murillo's got a race suit on, otherwise he might be a bit exposed from that position. And he is just lapping around there. I don't know what happened to him earlier on, but not sure if he's done the whole race like this. But yeah, there you go, the car number 21. I think, does he gain iRacing? We can bring that up on the screen if I'm very quickly, but Sam, you need to get quick on this one. There you go, yeah, he gains 5 iRacing. Congratulations.
Yeah, not bad. That's extraordinary that he's lost pretty much the entire front of his car and has decided, no, I'm gonna keep going.
This camera shouldn't exist. This camera should be on the other side of the circuit. There's no way that's actually attached.
Oh, that's funny.
There you go. I mean, it's like an open wheeler right there. It's like
Yeah.
Oh, look at the steering wheel as well. The wheel's absolutely gone. That is incredible that he's done so far. I want to know what happened to Murillo now. Earlier on in the race, I want to know how long he's driven this car. He's driven this car since the start of the race. This is what happened. I think he was involved in the start line crash.
I think you're right on that one. I think he did.
Let's get into the chopper. He's just driven the entire race like that. Oh man, oh, it was just a driver who spun it off the start. We'll get a few more replays of that. We'll go through the race results in a bit. And then they have another contact there. But yeah, Murillo drove that entire race like that. I mean, that is credit to him, and well, at least he deserves his 5 iRacing for him right there. He's still going. Come on, mate. Stop the car. You don't need to drive it anymore. Get a new one. But he's still doing the parade lap. Incredible commitment to the cause. I think he might do a few more. Try to get him off the circuit, guys. Good luck.
He's probably trying to search for where the front part of his car's gone. He's just trying to bring it back to the pits before they pack up and leave. He's just, I mean, it's probably an expensive piece of carbon fiber, so you know, I don't blame him for trying to find it.
He's
not
still
coming into
going.
the pits.
He's still going, Aaron. I mean, this is like Forrest Gump right now. The man can't be stopped. We are showing this guy all the way to the finish. Absolutely incredible stuff. And now he's called it a day, and wow. Well, we went on a journey there, guys. That was quite something. Happy to experience that all with you as we will go through the final results.
Yeah, absolute commitment, will, and another word that I'm not allowed to say, but you guys know the quote I'm on about from John Wick. Absolute commitment from him. That was hilarious, but amazing to see. As we have your race results now. For today's race, it was completely mental, completely chaotic, and nobody started and finished in the same place, which, you know, is a good and bad thing for some of these drivers. But anyway, Sergio Ferreira, your race winner today, as I mentioned earlier, our 5th winner this season. Blanco in 2nd place. Mario Medeo unfortunately could not convert pole into win, but still ends up on the podium. Daniel Sedgley in 4th place, Felix Samoz in 5th, Baba in 6th. Extraordinary race from him. He looked mega quick, and he probably could have fight for the win. Gonzalo Romero in 7th, Scott Lear in 8th, Redman in 9th, and then Sergio Powlett in 10th, winning the battle against Craig Gregory. Great battle between them. We have Cesar Teba in 12th place, Manu Casanavas in 13th, Ivan Balesso in 14th, and then our hero of today, Ezequiel Murillo, driving with half a car in 15th, and then your non-finishers or a lap down. Philip Van Den in 16th, unfortunate race for him. Juan Bastianini in 17th, Tommy Wittens in 18th, Victor Osset in 19th, Ianku Constanitu in 20th, and Andy Tokely in 21st place. And that race was absolutely mental, and in my opinion, the best race we've had so far this year.
I think that's a decent shout. I'm sure there'll be some guys who want to chat to us about it, Anne, but if not, come on, guys. I've been saying it for the last 2 years. Have a chat with us after the race, wherever you finish, as long as you're top split. Have a chat with us. We love to learn about the car. It makes us better for the next commentary. The fact that we know what we're talking about. So please do join us in the future. But whilst we wait for some drivers who will hopefully turn up, we'll get another couple of replays of that race start that we got earlier on, and try to figure out who dropped it off the line. Turn up the music so you can hear the wonderful sounds of these cars, and we'll also go back to normal speed. So this was on board with Murillo, and who was that? Was that the 19 that he hit? I think that was Bastianelli who he hit off the start.
And he drove the entire race like that. Absolute hero. Yeah, it just unfortunate. He was being extremely cautious as well, but could not avoid the carnage that happened in front of him. Yeah, I really don't know how this happens in races like this. It's always very odd, and you just get so much wheel spin off the start and absolutely bottles it and ruins his and 2 other people's races. Very unfortunate for Bastianelli, but at the same time, it was his mistake, and he ruined other people's races. So you feel bad for him, but you also don't. It's a very weird situation. But
yeah, let's get a replay of the Ferrero move as well for the lead earlier on. I think this was decisive for the lead, albeit maybe it was a little bit before this, apologies. But this is actually quite a close battle that we had for the lead. Jeez, gotta go back. There's literally, I mean, actually, I'm looking at it now. Okay, here we go. This should be a bit better. And let's get a proper angle. Let's go from the raw bar camera.
There we go.
And Ferrari pulling off this this mega move, which Takafik wants to work out.
Yeah, I mean, the overtaking on this track is one thing I like, because it does make you think ahead. Compared to a lot of other tracks. I think the only other track I can really think of that does that is maybe Le Mans. That track also sort of forces you to think ahead and be like, all right, I'm going to try do this, I'm going to do that. But yeah, these two giving it an absolute scrap for the lead, which is absolutely incredible. Madeo and Ferrero giving it everything, but in the end, yeah, you just see Madeo getting too deep on the brakes, and that was decisive for the lead. And after that, Ferrero was nigh on unstoppable and led all the way to the end. So sometimes you just need to keep it consistent and you win. And he has proven that in today's race.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a really good performance from him. Where do we head next in the championship? We've got some pretty cool rounds across this season. Next up in the championship is going to be Mid-Ohio, and now that's one which, for me, is, I think, one of the most underrated circuits on iRacing. I think it's an absolutely terrific track, which I think should be visited much more in the sim. You got any thoughts about that, host?
I think it's okay. I mean, a lot of these American tracks for me, like Virginia and Mid-Ohio and Barber, they're okay. They're not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but they are okay race tracks in my opinion. However, I am quite fond of Road America. I do quite like Road America and Watkins Glen. They are really good tracks. But I feel like a lot of American tracks are kind of samey. They all feel the same.
Wow.
Yeah. Controversial,
wow.
I know.
I mean, and you're saying how me putting Daytona bottom and Watkins Glen top in terms of special events is controversial. Listen to this guy. I mean, American circuits are the same. I mean, wow. Okay, we'll have to dive. You're welcome on the late Apex. This is this type of stuff that we like to listen to Mondays at Monday evenings. Everyone to watch that. And that's I must say I disagree with that, but I do like a hot take like that. But no, yep. Mid-Ohio, the Hungarian of North America is how I term it. Low elevation change, lots of kind of long radius, slow speed corners. Not going to be easy to overtake. Going to be a track where I think we have a lot of difference in competitiveness because yeah, it's not one that the drivers will know particularly well. But still, I think it should be a good one, Aaron, for next week's event.
Yeah, I think that I think if you're saying it's the Hungaroring of America, then that's probably why I'm not a big fan, because I do not like Hungaroring. I think it's a very meh track. I don't like driving around it. It's pretty mid. I'm just not that big a fan of it. If anyone out there is Hungarian or loves Hungary, then I apologize. I'm not a great fan of the track. The same goes to Mid-Ohio. It's a personal preference. I'm allowed my own opinion. But I don't know. Mid-Ohio doesn't do it for me. A lot of American tracks don't. I'm not biased just because I'm British. I mean, Sam's British, so it's not British bias. I just don't like American tracks. It's not really my thing. There are, as I said, there are some that stand out, like Road America, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta. Debatable, but.
I mean, you're just digging yourself a bigger grave here, Aaron, if I'm honest. I mean, just saying that Road Atlanta is okay. I mean, it's not going to help your cause, honestly. So I think we should cut our losses, say goodbye for this week, and we'll see you back next week. But yes, I will let you. I'll let you close out, Aaron.
Well, I mean, honestly, I hope I'll be here next week. I don't know. We'll find out. I hope I'm here to watch Mid-Ohio. I am starting to sort of love watching these races. They're always entertaining. But that has been all from us at Apex Racing TV. I've been your host, Aaron Smith, with Sam Fitzpatrick doing a brilliant job doubly as commentary and production. And I hope all of you have an absolutely superb end to your day. And we shall see you next week. Goodbye.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.